This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download.
I'm Kevin Thompson. I'm Chubray from Return of the Jedi. You're listening to the Nerf Herder Council.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking Nerf herder.
You can't use that word. Only we can use that word.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate, featuring your hosts, JT. This episode of the podcast is turning into a goddamn episode of Nova. AJ.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
Steve.
Show me on the doll where the last Jedi touched you.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we play a rousing game of social media roulette and touch on a number of topics we find on Twitter and Facebook.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve. As always, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial. And don't forget, you can get your official Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. I actually wore one of my shirts last week, and I got complimented.
Yeah?
People loved it. So
Cool.
I told them where to get it.
Cool,
So,
yeah. We'll have the Rise of Skywalker edition going up shortly.
Yes, that'll be... Oh, very cool. So now I buy another one.
So it's the same as the last one with a blue logo, though?
Yes, exactly.
That's okay. So
Sorry, I didn't mean,
no,
to be truthful. I was trying to make a joke.
It's hours of artwork. Hours and hours I'm going to save.
So much work. So much work. So, yeah. So for tonight's topic, I kind of wanted to do something and just like we always talk about social media and all the goofy crap that's on social media. So I just basically did some roulette and did some swiping and landed on a few things and screen capped it. So I'm bringing social media roulette to the table. So
we've expanded beyond Twitter.
Yes.
The original concept was Twitter roulette.
Yes. Well, I have something that's topical considering that it is Pride Month. So this is one of the things that I landed on. So I had to bring it up. I'll bring that up first because, you know, we won't take too much time on this because you can imagine where it goes. A Facebook page that I subscribe to called Star Wars World has an article. Lucasfilm has a new logo, and it's a picture of a promotional shot with Darth Vader holding a pride flag.
That picture has been going around the internet for like 15 years.
Yes. Well, you can imagine what the comments are like. So I'm sure I won't bore you with
They're warm and respectful, right? I mean,
I'm sure there's no gray area. Either you're for it or you're against it, right? I'm probably more against than for.
There's a lot of that. And of course, there's a lot of snarking back and forth. And to me, I just kind of looked at it and I was like, all right, it's Pride Month. They stick a pride flag on everything. That's fine. Who cares? But apparently a lot of people care.
Yeah, a lot of people take things way too seriously for no reason.
Yeah, and my thought process on it was, you know, they introduced Dr. Aphra, so they've already introduced like, you know, gay characters into canon. So why is this surprising? Why does it bother people? It's already there.
I didn't even know Dr. Aphra was gay.
Yeah,
I pay even less attention to the comics than I do the books.
I don't read the comics, but they have like reviews of them on Star Wars Newsnet, so I've caught bits and pieces, and you know, she's a lesbian, I suppose, or bisexual or something. I don't know if it's lesbian or bisexual, but whatever. She's some you know, she's not straight.
She's flying the rainbow flag.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there was a gay couple in the Aftermath trilogy as well.
Yeah, so I don't understand why people care. You know, and of course you had the people that then they start bellowing about how Disney's ramming SJW politics down people's throats. And it's like, why? What? I don't get. I will never. I know I'm stuttering, but it's because I don't know how to.
Because it's impossible to even talk about this without like.
Well, yeah, it's like I don't want to turn into an asshole about this, but it's like, why do you care? And why are you looking for that? And even if it's obvious, it's such a minor part of the film that who cares? I mean, it doesn't affect anything. And people getting all worked up about it is like, who gives a crap? You know, L3 and Solo.
Yeah.
Droids' rights and everything. I thought it was stupid. You know, it's like, okay. It was a little heavy-handed. And I was like, okay, it's not necessary. But it doesn't bother me. It's not like it hampers my enjoyment of the movie. So it's like, who cares? So they do it. And that one's obvious, but other things that people bring up are not as obvious. So what are you doing digging into it for that? It's a Star Wars movie, for Christ's sakes. I will never understand that.
Because if they're not digging into that, they're going to dig into something else anyways. We've already covered how friggin' ridiculous some of the fans are in this.
Well, you get the problem of representation in general. You know, you either, if you don't acknowledge it, then you're not being inclusive. And if you do acknowledge it, then people who don't lean that way are going to feel like they're being excluded or their rights are being trampled on. It's just what happens when you have this broad of an audience. You've got all walks of life coming together, and you're never going to please everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or was it the fact that the pictures of Vader waving the rainbow flag, so they don't like the implication that Vader's gay? Because that does go against canon, and I will riot.
There were people that were mentioning things somewhat akin to that sort of outlook, and I was shocked.
Maybe after the whole thing with Padme and all that, and her dying, Anakin was just like, you know what? I'm just going to start going for the other side here. It's like, I can't deal with women anymore.
Maybe his shame led him to that. Yes.
Yeah. See,
he's like, man, I choked that poor woman. You know who I can choke? Men.
And then the Emperor did
That's
it to
hilarious.
him, and he was like, harder, daddy. And then Anakin realized
That is hilarious.
that things were different.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't particularly care, but I guess a bunch of people do. I'm like, all right, well, to each their own. And
You're watching episode 4, and Vader's just frolicking around.
yeah.
Yath Queen, what the hell?
You are part of the Rebel Alliance, then a traitor. Take her away. What in the hell is that? And I thought the special editions were bad.
Instead of force choking, he's just force sticking his finger up people's butts.
Good Lord.
They're like, what the hell? And then you just see Vader like being very shy and coy, peeking around a corner like, ooh, he caught me. Oh no.
Somehow I don't think we're ever going to see that. So everybody worked up about the flag is not going to have to see it go
Vader
that far.
skips down an aisleway wearing nothing but the helmet and a cape. Just come get me, boys.
To a dark place this line of thinking will take us. So
yep, Vader's gay. Take it, leave it.
So speaking of fandom, as we did a second ago, I found a tweet, and then I'd like to get to some regular stuff because thankfully, a lot of times I'm on Twitter or Facebook. There's some really asinine stuff, so that's where I got this idea. So of course, as soon as I start scrolling for something, all the really asinine stuff pretty much stopped.
Yeah, way to go, internet. Way to start behaving yourself now.
Yeah. So I think if we do this in the future, I'm not going to tell you guys. I'm just going to come to the table and be like, all right, I got some. We're doing social media roulette tonight. So it'll be spontaneous. But yeah, so here's one of my favorite types of things, like the quantifying fandom or ripping on other segments of fandom type of thing. Some guy tweeted, I really don't like the fact that toxic fans seem to like Ahsoka and Rogue One as much as I do. Gross. What does it matter who likes what? So you determine whether or not fans are toxic, which they're easy to find. So I can't blame you there. But just
you're
because
a dick, so you can't like the things that I do.
exactly, I was like, what is
And I
the
say
point
that
of
in a
that?
non-dickish way because I'm not one of you.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's that. Why? What does it matter if somebody that you disagree with enjoys, enjoys what you enjoy? Who cares? If anything, that might help bring you closer together instead of wanting to battle each other all the time. Like, God bless it, man. With all the negativity and crap that's on social media, Lord knows we talk about it enough. Wouldn't you want something that kind of like, I don't know, bridges the gap a little bit? I guess.
No, the majority of fandom doesn't want that because then they won't have as much to complain about.
Yeah, I was
swear to
shocked
God,
by that.
The majority of Star Wars fans fill their time between movies with complaining on the internet. And if you can't have that anymore, then what do we have while we're waiting for another movie?
Yeah, I just I don't know. I don't understand why people. It's almost like they want to continue to just hate things and be mad at people and like why? What is that getting you? What's the point of that? It's just not. It's not productive.
Well, I'm sure that
conducive,
guy got maybe 2 likes on that tweet, and that probably made him sleep
No.
better at night.
No, there were a lot of comments, and I'll just leave it alone because otherwise I'm going to start ranting, and that's bad. So, but I did find some cool stuff, which would be interesting to talk about. So, there was a big long comment thread about this, but someone was asking, how everyone's feeling about The Mandalorian and what you're most excited about for it. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. The Mandalorian is strangely kind of under the radar right now, even though it comes out in, 4 months. So a little more than 4 months. But,
well, there's that whole movie thing kind of overshadowing it.
Yeah, but it comes out before the movie, and they still haven't released an official trailer for it. I mean, they had the footage at Celebration that, that you can only watch cell phone footage of online. They haven't released anything official for it. So, which is kind of surprising to me. You would think that they would have something out by now. And I wonder if it's just because they haven't said anything about the Disney Plus service. I mean, they haven't. I mean, we know it.
Yeah, they announced it, and that's pretty much where they quit.
It debuts in November, right, Steve?
Something like that.
It's like the first week in November or something like that, I think.
Again, they just announced it, and they were just like, yeah, we'll tell you guys about it again 2 weeks before it launches.
It'll exist. All right, next question. So, yeah, but I mean,
we might get something about it. D23 is next month, I believe, so I'm sure they'll probably have something a little more detailed about it at that point.
I hope so. I mean, I understand with the movies, this whole no trailer thing. I get it. But for a television show that's 10 episodes and you've literally shown nothing of it except to people that were in the room. I mean, hold on, AJ's
breaking news.
Breaking news. November 12th it debuts. Okay. Is that what day of the week is that? What do you think? 23rd, 16th. That's what, a Tuesday?
It's a Mon-Fry Thursday.
Yeah, it's a day that ends with the word day.
Yeah.
No, the 16th, 15th, 14th. Yeah, it's a Tuesday. So it starts on Tuesday, and then the Mandalorian, so I assume is going to be like the flagship program or whatever, original program anyway.
They said that's available at launch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, that Friday, Fallen Order comes out. That's another thing I caught on social media, that they had a 13-minute gameplay trailer that's been out for a little bit for that game.
There you go. There's something that I have seen tweets about.
Yeah. And now they got that 26-minute thing. It's like an extended version. I have to watch that because apparently AJ, apparently you should really like it because it talks about how it has the levels are like Metroid-esque.
Cool.
It's like a Metroid-esque.
I dig that.
Metroid-esque map, I should say.
But I did actually get into a real life conversation about the protagonist.
Cal?
Yes.
Okay.
Another white male.
Are you serious?
Do we need another white male?
I saw an article about that. Someone was trying to troll.
There's a lot of backlash about that. They're like, what the hell? You got all these alien races and you could be a female character, and why we got to be another white guy? Well, because actually lately for Star Wars, that's a rarity.
Well, yeah, true.
Have they not done a halfway decent job of diversity in the past few years? You know, with the female leads and all that stuff. Like,
You would think so. I mean, but then again, I mean, we could probably get crucified for saying so, considering we're middle-aged white guys.
yeah, it's
So, people are, oh, well, you're entitled, or you're,
But again, it's just going to be. You could have made it a guy that was half Asian, half alien, and people would be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you made an Asian guy. Why do we need this?" Like, it's like you said a little bit earlier. You're never going to friggin' make anybody or everybody happy in this fandom, and it's
Thankfully, on the articles I've seen about another white guy that are trying to like bait people, most of the comments, the responses I've seen are really like, come on. Like people are just like, it's not that big a deal.
Unless it's going to be like Knights of the Old Republic, where you actually invent your own character from the start. It has to be somebody. So once again, as soon as you pin it down to someone, then it's not going to be anyone else.
Well, I mean, and let's face it.
You could have made a creative player in that, but then people would have just been complaining that you wouldn't have any cutscenes because you can't render all that crazy. So people are like, oh man, the levels are great, but there's no story, there's no this, there's no that. Well, it's because you ruined it by making sure that there was creative players, so you wouldn't bitch about the main character of the game.
Or it could be really hackneyed, like WWE 2K19 or whatever, where you go through the My Career mode and you've got all these like stilted generic phrases, like, and that wrestler really pulled off a maneuver.
Yeah.
Is that what it says?
He really knows what he's doing inside the ropes.
Like when they're announcing you and you're coming down to the ring, everything sounds perfect. And they're like, on the way down to the ring, da da da. Like it's
like the audiobook overdub.
Yeah.
He walked down the hallway and opened the door.
Yeah.
I didn't know
From
they did
Cleveland, Ohio, Steve.
No enthusiasm whatsoever.
No one wants to get in the ring with this wrestler. He's a vicious competitor.
He knows a lot of wrestling moves.
So yeah, like as soon as they went with an actual character, of course the outcry was, that's another white guy. Brah.
Like I say, thankfully, I've seen a lot of people going, give me a break. Like that's reaching a little bit. And, honestly, for the game developers, if you want to convey emotion in cutscenes and whatnot, it's easier to do mocap rather than try to animate some alien or something. So, I mean, maybe that's the case. Maybe it costs less.
Yeah, because they're going to make $130 million budget for a video game so you could get all the mocap correctly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I say, maybe they're doing like human mocap because it's cheaper than animating an alien character, and they're spending the money on backgrounds and other things they're putting into the game. So, again, just more stuff that I don't understand why it's a big deal. I mean, I understand the diversity thing, but for people to then go after a video game, it's like, oh my God, they'll go after anything. It's like, okay. But again, thankfully, people seem to think that attacking that is a little bit over the line. So that's pretty cool.
I guess as long as the consensus is like that, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think diversity in Star Wars is alive and well. I mean, all you got to do is look at the cast for Episode 9, and you've got a woman leading the charge. You've got an African descent man. You've got an Asian woman. You've got aliens. You've got robots. You've got literally everything.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's always been, actually. I'm calling out Episode 9, but you could mix and match that around, and then you still got Lando and Leia, and you still got the same droids involved. Like, diversity is not a problem in Star Wars, and anyone who says it is, they're not paying attention.
Yeah. It's generally people on the internet like to make these things, these big deals out of things, mountain out of a molehill thing, because that's how they get their clicks and their 5 seconds of fame on the internet, because, I'm the one that started this, and I got, these guys that changed their mind and changed the character of this video game, and it's all me, look at me.
I maybe I'm in the minority here, but I don't see these things, and not in terms of, I'm blind to it because, again, I'm a middle-aged white guy or whatever. It's just, not a Star Wars example, but the newest Ghostbusters movie. You know, it was they had an all female cast. They did a role reversal. The main characters were female, and then the secretary dude, whatever, is Chris Hemsworth. So it's, you know, a man instead of a woman. And I just looked at it. I'm like, I don't want to see it because the original Ghostbusters is so iconic, and it didn't look funny to me. I never once went, oh, I don't want to see that. It's a bunch of women instead of guys. Like, I don't see those things. I mean, I know that they're there, but it doesn't. I don't care. It's like, okay, like if it's a woman character, if it's a gay character, if it's a male, you know, Asian, Latino, African American, to me, I just see a character. It's like, is it a good character? Or is it not a good character? Is it a good idea? Is it not a good idea? So
and just like how you've gotten into it with a couple of people on Twitter, you know, that you say that with actual common sense behind it, but one certain person will take what you said and spin it. So now you're an ass because, oh, well, you're just saying that because you're the middle-aged white guy. You're saying that because you're trying to look like something that you're not, but you just don't want to see it because it's the women.
Yeah.
You're already in trouble because you don't care on their behalf.
Yeah, and that's you know, you're being sarcastic, but maybe that's true.
No,
I mean,
I'm not being sarcastic. That's absolutely true.
I do vaguely remember
by not being in an uproar about it. You're part of the problem.
Yeah. Because I do vaguely remember you getting into it with somebody on Twitter over something almost along those lines.
Much. It's this exact thing. Yeah.
You give a common sense answer, and she spun the thing around to make it, you know, meet whatever agenda she had, and you're the problem because of it.
Yeah. It's like when I was, you know, attacked for being a sexist because of our profile picture on Twitter, and then all of a sudden they were silent when my wife chimed in and said, "That's me in the picture." I was the one that suggested. I thought it was funny. So
didn't some people go after her?
Yeah, they tried.
How could you do that?
Yeah, and she shut it down right away. She's like, why? I don't have a problem with it. Who cares? It's just a funny picture. It's supposed to be humorous. It's not anything to like exploit women or anything. It's just like them being stupid, like, ooh, look, boobies, you know? And it has the show logo on it. It's like, give me, you know? So, yeah, I don't know. And maybe you're right, AJ, that, you know, I'm not all up in arms for for whatever.
Things won't change unless someone does something about it. Yeah. And if you're not doing anything about it, you're part of the problem.
See, and I understand that. I mean, that part of it, I will agree with it. You know, if you don't speak up, I guess nothing ever changes. And I get that. But to me, you know, I just subscribe to the belief that labels divide people. So if someone is an asshole, I'm not looking at them like, oh, that's, well, you know, I'm a sexist or a racist or something based on their sexual orientation or their. No, I'm not going, well, you're an asshole because you're this or because you're that. No, you're an asshole because you're an asshole. Period. The end. You're a dick.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not labeling you as anything else. You're just a human being. So it's like, you know, I don't see people in terms of labels. I just think that divides people and causes problems. So, you know. It's just not for me. So, you know, this whole thing with, you know, Cal being, oh, another white male character. It's like I just thought he was a Jedi that, you know, survived Order 66 and off we go into another new Star Wars story. I didn't, you know.
He's as white as they get, man. He's a ginger.
Yeah, he's like the whitest one they've ever had. That's why they're up in arms. Actually,
he might as well be an albino.
Yeah, he's got freckles. You can't get a suntan. He's got the red hair. Like.
There's going to be a little meter while you're playing the game that you have to stay out of the sunlight for. Like if you're in sunlight for too long, he gets all burnt up and you end up dying in the game.
That would be awesome.
So that meter starts to fill up. You're like, oh crap! I gotta get into the shade. Hold on.
The shade meter.
The little meter just goes back down. You have to like hide under a tree for like 10 seconds and then you can run again.
It's like in Metal Gear when you get detected, you have to hide in the bushes until like the you know, all the soldiers stop looking for you. You have that same meter, but they just reproduce it for this game, and it's the shade meter.
That's why the Purge troopers are so hard to defeat. Those staffs of theirs actually have UV bulbs on the end.
This game's awful. Sunburn. I can't get past the second level without getting skin cancer. It's awful.
Is there a force power to ward off lymphoma? Damn it!
Yeah, that's awesome, man. But yeah, so I've seen those articles too, AJ, and it's like, okay. And again, thankfully people are finally shutting that down because, you know, like we've said a lot of times, you know, on social media, people tend to get all worked up over these things. and it's just like, oh my gosh, like isn't there more valid cause you could fight for on some of these? They're so inconsequential. So it's nice that some people are actually saying, dude, it's a video game, who cares? We have pick your battle. So I think that's pretty cool. So
that is the nice thing, is you're finding all these things across the internet to rage about because the opinions posted are ridiculous. There are plenty of them shouting those ridiculous opinions down too, because common sense does rule sometimes.
yeah, thank God. It does not happen too often, so it's nice to see. I am a big proponent of the death of social media. I just find it to be, if I didn't have the band and the show and whatnot, I would probably delete all my personal pages. You should see my Instagram page. It is hilarious. If anybody grabbed my phone and just hit Instagram, if they didn't know whose phone it was, they would instantly know by looking at my Instagram. You'll see a Browns picture, and then like 8,000 pictures of dogs, and then an Indians player, then a Browns player, then another 8,000 pictures of dogs.
Nice.
Like, that's all my Instagram feed is. So yeah, but I mean, with The Mandalorian, I mean, are you guys excited for this? Because I am like super, super pumped for this.
It fell completely off my radar, honestly.
Really?
I'm just in Rise of Skywalker mode.
Are you? Yeah, I just
I'm in the Star Wars summer lull right now, where it's just
the training camp lull.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I think that's why the internet has settled down recently, is because there's really not a lot coming out right now. As soon as they drop oh man, can you imagine if we were doing the show right after the next trailer for episode 9 hits? I mean,
yeah,
we go 2 hours on that.
Yeah.
Not our own opinions, just reading other people's.
Yep. Yeah, no, Mandalorian is definitely not off my radar because I am really, really excited for it. The footage that they showed looked really cool, and I'm super excited because with the budget behind it, and Jon Favreau has a pretty good track record with this sort of thing, and the quality of the actors that they brought in, to me, it really bodes well for other things that we could get. I'm super excited for the Cassian Andor show because I loved Rogue One, and to get more K2SO is going to be great. So and if those two shows do great, I mean, you could have Solo 2, but in a television format where instead of a 2.5 hour movie, you're getting 10 hours in a an episodic series, which would be awesome.
Well, look at all the cool stuff that came out of the Clone Wars. And most of that was facilitated by the fact that they had so much more time to tell stories and develop characters you just can't do in a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Clone Wars literally saved the franchise. It was, shuttered basically after 2005 until the Clone Wars came along, and that got a whole new generation of fans, and it's still so popular they had to come back and crank out another season. So,
well, I mean, I know, Steve, you and I have watched barely any of the Clone Wars, and I keep trying, and it's just it's kind of interesting to me, but it's not anything I just have to keep going back to. But I mean, I'm intrigued.
But the same
so, I mean, are you pumped up for the new season that's coming out on Disney Plus, the new Clone Wars series?
It'll be cool to see it again, but having seen some of the storylines, in fact, we know a couple because they were already discussed in panels.
Right.
Not so much. We did an episode about, was it the right time to cancel the Clone Wars? And we reviewed a couple of the story things that were upcoming, and now they are going to be done in season 7. And
right.
I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic because one thing, it's going to look great because they got all the time in the world and all the money in the world they want.
Yeah.
And, how many years? 7 years of technical advancements.
Yeah.
So it'll look great. But no, my point with the Clone Wars, bringing up the Clone Wars, was the Mandalorian is kind of with the Skywalker saga shutting down and us not knowing when the next Star Wars movie is coming. The Mandalorian basically is the lifeblood of the franchise moving forward for the near future.
Right.
So that part's really cool because I'm wondering what seeds they're going to sow in the show that will, bear fruit later down the line with other films and, books and whatever else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it plays into my, my theory or my belief that I've stated many times, which is, even if they put out something I don't like, like Rebels or, Resistance, I'm just not into. Like, I'm fine with them putting them out because it just opens more storyline doors for them to try something else that I might actually enjoy.
Mhm.
So I never mind if they put out something that I'm like, that sucks for me. You know, if I think it sucks, because I could get more stuff out of it.
And the one thing in the current culture is if something is hot, they will milk that cash cow.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I hate to bring up Trek because it's a Star Wars podcast, but
We don't talk Trek here.
the CBS All Access series, it took off. People loved it. And now there are literally 5 series in development right now.
Are you kidding me? That many?
Yeah, because people they had all these ideas that, did or didn't fit, and certain characters were hot enough that they're like, okay, look, so they've got a next generation continuation going. They've got an animated series. They've got a kids show. They've got a spin-off from the new one that's on All Access. And of course they still got the All Access one. So I mean, if something's hot, if Mandalorian takes off, they've already done the Cassian announcement. Who knows what else we're going to get?
Well, all I know is I hope it's a Baze Malbus and Chirrut Imwe show because I want that so bad. That would be awesome. I would be all about that show.
That would be pretty outstanding, yeah.
Yes. But yeah, no, I just, the Mandalorian just looks awesome. And that's going to be in that 2-year lull between pictures, between The Rise of Skywalker and whatever that movie in 2022 is going to be. Speaking of 2022, since we know that's going to be the next Celebration, did you end up getting any tickets for Celebration next year?
I did not.
Friday and Saturday are sold out now. So if you decide last minute that you want to go, you're going to have to pay out the ass. I told you should have bought them.
You didn't either.
Yes.
Why are you raking me over the coals?
Yes, I did.
We were texting the day they went on sale, and you were giving me all the updates. We had mutually agreed not to. We mutually agreed to then do so, and found out we couldn't. We were already too late.
No. Yes, you could. I got a Thursday pass, I got a Friday pass, I got a Saturday pass, and I got a Sunday pass.
Oh, so you did actually buy one of every day. And then, so you bought them all for yourself, then told me, Saturday sold out, man, sorry.
Look, I was texting you saying, hey, look, you got to get them. They're 80% sold out. Okay? I told you that.
All right.
This is nothing new.
All right, well, keeping us a little bit on topic.
And I got the Hilton. I got a room at the hotel, like right next to the convention center.
Nice.
Yes.
So
not bad on
this
a
is supposed to
whim
be
of trying to do that.
I know. I still don't know if I'm even going to go, but
this is supposed to be a social media show. So
Yeah.
what does the internet think about another Celebration next year already?
Actually, they pretty much, a lot of people agree with us. From the pages that I follow, there's a lot of on our show page. There's a lot of like common people that tweet a lot, and it seems to me that people that I know were first time first time visitors to Celebration this past at this past one in Chicago, they immediately signed up. They're like, oh my God, Celebration was the greatest time of my life. I'm going, bang. But it's people like us that have been to several and are like, oh my God, did that cost a lot of money? Like that there's some regulars that are saying, I can't go.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they have like such a turnover in the audience where they had so many new faces in Chicago. They knew they could pitch another one next year and have like crazy attendance.
Yeah. I mean,
and they sure as hell aren't hurting if half of it's sold out already.
Yeah. I mean, the hotels are all gone. The 4-day pass, obviously the Jedi Master Pass is sold out right away. The 4-day pass is sold out. The Saturday pass is sold out, and that was all within the first few hours of them going on sale. And then I think within a couple days was when the Friday tickets sold out.
Though, I mean, if we could be honest, they could announce a Celebration that's going to happen 2 weeks after the one in Anaheim, and the damn thing's going to sell out in a couple hours.
Yeah.
I really wonder what it's going to get to be like, because I have a feeling we're going to miss out on some, just because this thing is getting bigger. And I mean, the fact that 2 celebrations ago it sold out like a week before.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden last year it sold out like within like a month or two for Chicago. And now it's like pretty much sold out the day they go on sale. I mean, and honestly, the only way that I got the room at the Hilton, because the way, for people who don't know, the Anaheim Convention Center is on like a driveway that's like shaped like a horseshoe, and on one side of the horseshoe is the Marriott, on one side of the horseshoe is the Hilton, And at the end of the horseshoe, on the round part, is the convention center. So the easiest thing for travel is to get the Hilton or the Marriott. And I don't think the Marriott was doing rooms for this one. I never saw it. But what I did see is if that day, if you were trying to book a room for that weekend, they were asking $6.99 a night. So maybe they said, well, we're just gonna gouge these Star Wars fans. Maybe they said, we're not giving a discount. We're gonna gouge Star Wars fans. Maybe that's the case. But anyway, so the Hilton's the way to go because it's right there. It's like a 30-second walk to the convention center. And when I went in to get the hotels, when I first got in there, the Hilton came up as an option. There were only 3 options, and the Hilton was one of them. I clicked it, I selected my dates, and it immediately said the dates you have selected are no longer available. So I went back in and I grabbed the first one I could. I'm like, I'm not going to get shut out. I just took a hotel. I'm like, I'll worry about it later like I always do. And then, of course, me being me, I just started refreshing and refreshing and refreshing and refreshing. And all of a sudden the Hilton came up and boom, I got it. So, but it's going to come to a point where this refresh is not going to work. And it's just going to be bang, they're gone.
Right.
I mean, even especially in Orlando, because the 501st takes up the whole Rosen Center anymore. I mean, you can't get the Rosen Center unless you book it independently outside of the Star Wars site. If you call the hotel, because if you try and go through the hotel, it's not available. The 501st books all the rooms. So, I mean, it's crazy. And a lot of people were saying that they had a hard time with the site because, you know, they got in there and the queue took so long that there wasn't anything left.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I don't know what to think because I mean it's Celebration's awesome, but it just you know, and they had a problem with the resale this last time with a lot of people buying up these tickets, and then just there were people that bought 4-day passes just to resell. So now you got people that really want to go that can't, and if they want to, they're going to get gouged for triple, quadruple, you know, quintuple the price. So, and
sadly, it is like that. To break fourth wall again, we've mentioned multiple times that we live in Cleveland and stuff. Free tickets for Cleveland Browns training camp went quote unquote for sale today. Disappeared within an hour for every available date. People are selling them online for $20 to $30 a ticket right now for free ticket. Like people in Star Wars is no different. People will immediately jump on 10 a.m. to get their tickets for no other reason than to dump the thing on eBay 30 minutes after they get them.
Yep. Well, I mean, it's like we're talking, you know, for you, AJ. I mean, like we've got the hotel, so that's not a problem. So at the last second, if we just go, you know what, screw it, let's go. You know, airfare is like $500 or something. If, you know, all of a sudden next summer it gets so close and you and I get the bug, like we have to go. You know, the only reason I bought the tickets because I know I can resell them. At least the Friday and Saturday tickets I can sell.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was $300, and in a year and a half, I'm not going to think about the $300. So I would rather be prepared, and if I decide I want to go, I have it. So, but for you, if you get the bug and you're like, I want to go,
$1,200 later,
yeah, you're going to get banged for this crazy amount. And
ooh, phrasing,
yeah, right. My bad.
How bad do you want to go, boy?
Yeah. But yeah, so and a lot of people were talking about that, but you know, the main thing was that with it being a year from Chicago, people have a hard time, and especially people that come from overseas. I mean, to plan a trip to a whole nother country, sometimes a whole nother continent. Well, it is a whole nother continent, no matter where you look at it, you stupid asshole. Learn some
we know geography.
Dickhead, learn geography, you idiot. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, for people to book a trip overseas twice within a year and a half, I mean, that's really expensive.
Rough. That's rough.
And it's really time consuming.
Heck, we're domestic and it came down to that choice for us.
Yeah. And I mean, it's, so I really hope that what they're doing is just trying to keep it like on a biannual thing, because when they came out, because if you notice, they did, okay, we're going to do it this year. And then shortly after came the announcement of when the Benioff and Weiss movies were coming out, 2022, 2024, 2026. And you know, we knew that it was on a 2-year schedule. So I'm thinking that they just shoehorned one in to get it back on the 2-year schedule for the movies. So I'm hoping that's the case, because I know one thing: if they're doing it every year, I'm not going every year. It's gonna suck to miss it, because being there is a phenomenal experience. But I can't pay all that money every damn year.
Yeah, that was initially my theory, was maybe they were trying to make it annual so it wasn't so precious and they could reduce the scale of the event as a result. Like if they drive down attendance, then they can fit it in a smaller venue and they have more options of where they can go with it. Because that's the other problem is right now, where else can you go? I mean, there are very few cities that could possibly host it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
again, personal conversation I had to shoot down a theory. Someone's like, they could have it in Cleveland. No, they couldn't. No, they couldn't. There is not a venue in this city that can host the convention and still has all the breakout rooms that they need for panels and lodging nearby and is walkable and like all the logistics around putting this event on. It's a very select few cities that can actually accommodate that.
You could do it in Cleveland with multiple buildings. Like you'd have to have the convention floor at the convention center.
It would be like the RNC,
But all the stage things would have to be over at the Wolstein or something like that. Like you'd be walking 10, 15 minutes from the convention building down, 4 or 5 blocks somewhere to see the episode whatever panel, that's on the stage. And then you have to walk back again.
And if they didn't do it in the summertime, I mean, our weather could be a pisser. I mean, we got really, really lucky in Chicago in April.
Yeah, because
we
did.
All we had was that Sunday, that brutal snowstorm.
Of course. Yeah, the one day where everyone's trying to get out of town, and here comes a snowstorm.
Yep. And then the next day, it looked like nothing happened. It was the weirdest thing.
Yep.
But I mean, we got really lucky. So, you're right. I mean, obviously the resort cities and stuff, with Orlando and
what about overseas?
I wonder if they're going to go back to doing one every other year overseas, because there was a lot of groundswell for that. Even right after they made the announcement, a lot of people were complaining that they're not doing a European one, and so apparently that was more popular than we understood. So
I would love that as an excuse to make an overseas trip.
If they ever did one in Italy, I would have such a hard time turning it down. I'd be like, oh crap, Star Wars Celebration Italy. Oh no.
Well, then it's like, do I go see the sights or do I see the inside of this convention center?
I would do both. And I would gain 20 pounds. I'd be doing nothing but going to the Star Wars convention and looking at Star Wars and then going and eating. I'd wake up and go eat, then I'd go to the Star Wars convention, I'd leave and go eat, then I would go back to the Star Wars convention, then I'd go eat some more, then I would go hang out with the Star Wars fans at the bars, then I would go eat some more, then I would be hungry after I ate because I didn't eat enough, and then I would go eat again, and then it would be 5 a.m. and I would get 3 hours sleep and start over.
You can break even by walking at the convention and then back and forth to everywhere you're going, and you can justify all the eating with all the walking.
Do you remember that at was it Orlando where we did all that walking?
Oh yeah,
and we were eating and drinking like it was our job, and I got back and I had still lost 3 pounds. We had walked so much.
I couldn't figure it out, and then I looked at my step tracker on my phone. I'm like, holy crap! Well, you've been putting in like 10 to 12 miles a day.
Yeah, what was it one day?
Your caloric needs have definitely gone up.
That one day that we walked the episode 8 line, it was almost like 70,000 steps we put in, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was something crazy because that line was literally over a mile long. That was the damnedest thing ever. That line just did not stop.
It literally went from the front of the building to the back.
Yeah. Well, and then it just kept going down the street and around the corner, and I was like, "What is going on here?" So, but yeah, no. So, that's all I had really. I mean, we'll do this again sometime. I figure it's nice to keep tabs on social media, and like I say, it was funny because it always gets me riled up. So as soon as I come up with the idea, I look on Twitter, and there's nothing there to rile me up. Really, I was like, "Damn it!" Okay. But all it was
attack this again in like the last week of December, and we'll probably
yeah.
Where are you finding this stuff anyway? Because I was trying to scroll our Twitter feed during the show, and it's nothing but, unless you're going to get the random like political post by someone like an actor or a producer in Star Wars. Otherwise, it's all just like love of Star Wars. So where are the Flame Wars taking place? Because I'm not seeing it.
A lot of it is somebody will tweet something inflammatory, and then somebody that we follow will like it, so it pops up in the feed. And then I'm a complete and total dummy, and I click on it to see the comments, knowing full well that it's going to absolutely infuriate me.
If into the comments section you go,
Yeah.
only pain you will find.
That is so true. That's exactly what it is. And I know.
I know neither.
I do it to myself. I troll myself, and it's so sad.
I know
I'm such
neither,
a dummy.
Neither one of you are into the Disney stuff as much as me, but have either of you seen the new Wreck-It Ralph?
I was just going to bring that up. It just hit
No.
Netflix. Yeah.
When Ralph is doing all this, he's trying to raise money to buy something off of eBay, so because they're in the internet and stuff, and then he walks into this one room, and you just see all the comments scrolling, and then the one girl walks in, and she's like, "Oh, like Ralph, you never supposed to go into the comment section, man. Never supposed to visit these."
That's awesome. Yeah, I completely agree with that because I do it to myself all the time. And it just, oh my God. I mean, we could seriously, like, there's some tweets where I could literally just read the responses and rant on them because it makes me, don't be throwing aluminum cans around, AJ. Be kind to the environment. It just drives me insane, some of the stuff that these people say. You know, I saw, I mean, you know, this isn't Star Wars related really, but, you know, someone had liked it on some tweet today, and it was some page that all these people think is funny because it's a Facebook page where you go and you're only allowed to talk on it if you pretend to be a baby boomer. So it's all these punk ass millennials making fun of old people because they're not smartphone savvy and they don't know all the cool internet terms for Twitter. And I'm like, you know, being a douchebag that's glued to your phone doesn't make you cool. Okay? So maybe instead of making fun of people for that, maybe realize that you're an antisocial asshole and don't make an entire Facebook group about what a dick you and your friends are. And go ahead and call me a curmudgeonly old man, but it's stupid. It's like, you're not cool. Like, okay, so people can't use a smartphone. Who gives a shit? You know, sorry, Steve, too many edits on this show, but so you got anything else, AJ, Steve?
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm in the comments section on YouTube right now, actually, looking at Fallen Order comments.
Anything good?
You can't talk to someone through the windshield of an AT-AT.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. Where was that 20 minutes ago? So, all right, guys. Well, with that, we will close up shop. Hopefully, we didn't offend anybody on this one. But, you know, it's on our mind, so screw it. It's our show. If you don't like it, don't listen. Get off my lawn.
They're not.
Yeah. Only listener 23. So,
Yeah, we like him. That's cool.
So once again, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. You can find the Nerf Herder Council where you find all of your other podcasts, usually anyway, Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, CastBox, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all those good places. Our website is nerfherdercouncil.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can send us an email at nerfherdercouncil@gmail.com, or you can tweet directly at us or interact with us. It's at NHC Podcast. So once again, I'm your host, JT, at Dog Pound Jedi. He's AJ.
At Drake Adams, 579.
He is Steve.
At JSteve1005.
And get off my lawn. Flibbity floo.
Bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my nerf herder.
You my nerf herder.